Today's a little bit different. We're not going to be building anything as such. Got a little bit of a special treat for myself. How's it, boys, and welcome back to the Burton Builds garage. It's a Romoss power bank and jump start. Well, it says jump starter and power bank. I don't know, I think these things have been quite popular lately. I got thinking we're going camping pretty soon. I thought, well, maybe we need one of these. Not for my car, but for possibly somebody else that gets stuck. So yeah, I've got one of these things, picked it up off Take-A-Lot. It's like eBay or Amazon, but just in South Africa. I think I paid about 850 Rand for the thing. I think somebody's knocking at the door. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Hi.
Are you still at school or is it school holidays now?
School holidays.
Okay.
I'm going to school.
It's our landlord's daughter. Shame, she's so cute. I'm not sure how old she is. She's probably 4 years old. She's gonna go call the dog. Okay, well, while we wait for the dog, yeah, it's made by Romoss, or I think that Romoss just probably repackages or rebrands items. From what I've read on the internet, they also make a lot of, well, there's a lot of other people that make counterfeit Romoss products, and one of the ways to check if your Romoss product is actually genuine, you can see this one's got a little scratch pad kind of over there. It's like a little security pad, and we can scratch that off, and there's a serial number that you'll find there, and then you go to the Romoss website and you put that serial number in, and you can actually register your product, and if it is a genuine product, then it tells you it's genuine, and if it's not, well, then it says try again next time. So we'll see what this one is. Look, it says it's made for cars, motorcycles, jet skis, speedboats, 1200 milliamps, and you can also charge. Oh yeah, that's another thing about this item. Where is it? It's got this on. That's another reason I bought it. 12 volts, 10 amp output. Now it's not going to last for that long. Probably only give you 40 useful minutes of 12 volts at 10 amps. I thought that might come in use for running little pumps, and like the little pumps that pump up your tires or lights in a camping tent, something like that. It's got a little flashlight on it as well. High capacity. Well, what is high capacity? It's all relative. Smart protection. Who knows what the hell that is? Probably some like fancy stuff inside there. Dual USB output. I suppose for charging devices, cell phones, tablets, that type of thing. I mean, they're showing quite a strong little beam there, but I doubt it's going to be strong like that. So here's the little scratch pad. Let's scratch it off. It's quite small. There's the serial number there, and if you go to sort of the Romoss.com website and just go to support and then warranty, and somewhere down the bottom here, there we go, click to verify. So we click on that, and it comes up with some dodgy ass page here. Now this is all in Chinese, so take it as you will, but let's put in that number there and then check authenticity. Let's see what it says. Rest assured, your product is genuine. Thank you for purchasing Romoss product, with a nice little smiley face right there. So yeah, all good. Packaging is, it's quite nice. Standard old box type thing. What the hell, man? Fuck, why do they have to make these things child-proof? Jeez. Oh man. I swear I don't think I've grown up properly. I still can't open boxes and some medical supply little tubs and things like that. There we go. If in doubt, give it a clout. Or in this case, a hard pull. Nice little protective box here. Little Romoss sticker. It's probably just glued on. Yeah, that's just glued on. Kind of a smells a bit funky. It smells new, like plastic. And inside, what do we have here? This is part of the jump starter kit. These two jumper leads. I don't know, they feel really plasticky though, but cables are pretty thick. This kind of Velcro stuff reminds me of some of the DJR stuff. I suppose this is the little control box for jump starting. Read the instructions before you use it, of course. It's something we never really do. Little booklet. Probably should read this, but another day. What else do we have here? There's a little charging brick. 15 volts, 1 amp. So yeah, not very powerful. Quite a neat little case here, or little sack. Oh, my sack. Couple of things in it. Come on. Well, first thing is yes. I know these. This is a cigarette lighter little, I suppose, adapter where you can kind of plug it into the side of the unit. I've used these before. These are really cheap cigarette lighter adapter things. Yeah, you put the socket in like that, and they end up eventually sliding out and disconnecting. They're not very good at all. So I might end up just replacing this little piece. What do we have? This is also to charge the. I assume this is to charge the unit. You plug this into your cigarette lighter, and then also into there. And there's something else in here. Oh, a 3M sticker. Oh no, this is actually a 3M Velcro sticker. Check that. Don't need it. Cool. So the main thing that we came here to look at is actually this thing. This is the prime mover here. Well, I should say this is the Primus mover. Oh, yeah, Primus. There we go. So it's model JS12, capacity 1200 milliamps, 44 watt hours, 3.7 volts. Made in China, of course. Mostly everything is made in China these days. Input 15 volts 1 amp, so that's this guy. And then output 5 volts 1 amp, so that's out of the 2 USB-A sockets there. Or yeah, I think that's what they are. Output 5 volts 2 amps, also that's out of those guys. And you've got a 12 volt 10 amp output, and that is out of here. So that's kind of where our little 12 volt adapter would go in, like that, and then you can run 12 volt sort of pumps or whatever runs on 12 volts really, 12 volt lights. Peak starting current 400 amps, so I suppose that is quite important. I've heard that these things are quite powerful. This is a small one. 400 amps is not very high, so maybe some of the bigger diesels, it might not turn those very well, but I think for my bakkie, it's only a 2-litre 4-cylinder. I think it'll turn that just fine. Yeah, man, the build quality is not bad. Well, it's not. I mean, it's pretty sturdy. You can flex it slightly, which you know, it could have been made a little bit better. This is just probably an ABS plastic. There's no markings. There might be some markings on the inside as to what it is, and this is just like a soft silicone type of rubber. It's probably going to wear off. I've seen this type of rubber before. I think this is just a vinyl plasticky sticker. Here's our charge indicator. There we go, 3 of the 4, so it's probably 70% charged. And then on the working end, so we've got our little light, our 2 USBs. That's for 5 volts 1 amp output and a 5 volt 2 amp output, from what I can pick up. Yes, 5 volts 1 amp, 5 volts 2 amps. So if you want to charge your bigger units, use that. And then this is looks like an XT plug, but I don't think it is. It's maybe something similar to an XT plug. It looks like about an XT90 size. What we need to do is take the jump starter socket. Now the manual refers to this whole contraption as a jump starter socket, and what you want to do is put it into the blue receptacle on the side of the pack. You plug it in. It's quite difficult to push in, but it goes. And then once that's all plugged in, you want to take these 2 leads, of course putting the red lead onto the battery first and then the black lead onto the battery second. The black goes onto the negative, for those of you not quite too sure. And what you should get under normal circumstances, the little correct LED, it's a little green LED, that should come on, and that means that everything is actually correct, and then you can try and crank and start your car. If the battery is really very low or really flat, then the green LED will still come on, but it'll flash. What that is telling you is listen, your battery is pretty low, and push the boost button. So what you can do is then push the boost button, and within 30 seconds crank and start your car, and that just gives it a bit of extra go juice. There is another sort of option that that might happen here, and that is the reverse connection. So if you've connected these two in the incorrect manner, so you've put the negative on the positive terminal and the positive onto the negative terminal, then the little red LED that's gonna flash and it's gonna buzz, and that's just telling you, hey, listen, you've made a mistake. Take it off, change it around, put it back on, and then it should all be good. If you plug it into or onto the battery and nothing happens, there's no lights here, no sound, nothing, that means your battery is really just completely dead. And the manual again says that you should just check that these two connections, these crocodile clips, are in fact connected the correct way, so the red onto the positive and the black onto the negative. And if you're 100% sure, then press the boost button and then start the car within 30 seconds, and hopefully it'll start. If it doesn't, well, you know, that's just your shit luck then. Just having a look at the charging socket, the wire, I mean, it feels, you know, the wire's, it's not, I don't think it's silicon wire, but I mean, it's pretty soft. It's 8 gauge wire, 200C, 200 degrees science there, so it can withstand quite a bit of heat. And looking at the clips themselves, they've got really strong springs, but I fear what's going to happen over time is this plastic, you know, this plastic feels really quite cheap and brittle. So any little bit of heat, or once these plastics start getting old, I think they're gonna crack right over there. So you may end up eventually having to put on new crocodile clips. Where the wire is crimped on, it's not soldered, it's just crimped, but the crimping looks very good, and the contacts look like they are, you know, they're pretty thick, I would say about 2 millimeters each side. I mean, it's got a decent clamping force. And then the little socket itself, I mean, this is quite a solid little unit. You can't take it apart, there's no screws, so I'm assuming it's got clips or it's been welded together. So I think they use frequency to weld this type of thing together. As far as the battery is concerned, it feels, you know, I expected it to be a little bit heavier than what it is. So a little bit worried about that. Not quite too sure what cells this has got in it. It's got 6 kind of screws that separate the two halves, the clamshell halves there, and it's a Torx T6, and that's the size of the screw. One thing you want to remember, once bitten, twice shy, is when you're working with kind of high capacity batteries or any electrical current, you know, if you've got one of these things and you've lost the key for it, you know, mine just doesn't come off anymore. Not sure why, but what you want to do is maybe just tape the ring up. You know, the amount of current that passes through these batteries, and the steel ring is not going to hesitate to give you a nice quick tattoo, instant tattoo. The normal starting current is 200 amps and the peak starting current is 400 amps. It takes 15 volts to charge 1 amp, but it also can charge from your cigarette lighter in the car, which is 12 volts. Now I'm going to be really careful because I don't want to break it. I'm not sure which side would come off first. Well, I can tell you that the cells are blue. I can't quite get the pack open. I've managed to open it up that much. I thought there might have been clips around this part here, but I've put these little pry tools in. Funny enough, I've got Romoss pry tools, same people that make this unit, but they don't seem to be sort of pulling anything loose, so it might be glued, and I don't really want to break it. What I can see, it's not actually 18650 cells in here. It's a flat pack cell. I think it's 3S. So I can't really count how many wires are in there because they're all in the front here. But it's 3S, and I managed to get some numbers off the top of the cell, stuck them in the Googler there, but nothing's come up. So it's probably sort of proprietary numbers that Romoss use. You know, especially if they are packing the battery or if they have somebody packing the battery for them. There's also a serial number on the side of the battery. I think that's specific to this battery. So I think what I'm going to do is just put it back together, just like that really. Put the screws back in and hope for the best. These guys reckon somewhere around 6-month battery life, so if you just charge it up then it should last 6 months before needing to recharge it. I would say that you are likely looking more in the range of charging it every 2 to 3 months. It would kind of ensure that you are always topped up. It takes about 3 to 4 hours to charge fully. That's using the power socket. They reckon on the pamphlet that it can jumpstart a car approximately 20 times. Now, I'm going to call bullshit on that because there's a lot of variables. If your battery is completely dead, then, and it's a big car or a big engine, it's probably going to battle to start the engine 20 times. Otherwise, if you've got a little 1100 with a semi-bad battery, then yeah, it probably will start more than 20 times. I mean, the other things that it was saying, from what I can remember reading, is that it will charge basic devices like iPhones and that type of thing, your Samsungs, some of the bigger, more power-hungry phones, about 6 or 7 times. So yeah, I think it's going to be pretty good. As for the light on the unit, to switch the light on, you just hold the power button in, and then it should switch on. So there we go. You can see it over there. It doesn't look very bright, but I think it's going to be bright enough at night so that you can just see what you're doing when you're plugging the unit in and kind of, you know, plugging it onto your battery. I think that's what its purpose is. This little picture on the box here, that's some marketing rubbish, so don't believe that. It's got four modes, 3 modes, I don't know, however you want to look at it. So it's always on, and then if you push it again, it goes into strobe mode, and if you push it again, SOS, for those of you who know Morse code, and then press it again and it goes off. Also the power indicators here, so if you press the button, if it's the first light that's on, that shows 25% charge, the second light is 50%, the third light is 75%, and the fourth light is 100% full. To charge the device, we kind of use the little plug, and if you just plug it in, what it did say is that, there we go, you can see the lights flashing, and if the unit was kind of really in a very much discharged state, or the battery was really flat, only the first one would flash, and then as it charges, the second one and the third one and then the fourth one, and then when charging is complete or charging is paused, then all the lights will be out. Overall, looks like a good product. I'm not going to go and specifically drain any of my vehicle's batteries just to check that this thing works. I'll see what happens. Maybe we come across somebody that needs to be jump started, but my battery's all in good condition, and I'm not gonna risk that just for testing this unit. These are really chintzy little pieces. I mean, they plastic, you know, shitty cables, cheap. I mean, you know, what do you expect? This is I mean, it's a Romoss brand, but you know, made in China, probably not under any license. Some of the better manufactured sockets. Now this is the same thing. It's still that 12-volt cigarette lighter socket, but this one is slightly better. I mean, it's a really thick steel, and it's got a nice binding post on the end of it over there, and it's also got these little cutouts like that. So when you stick your unit, if you stick the pokey bit into the receptacle, these little kind of tangs out the side here, they grip into those little cutouts, and that kind of stops the unit from, or the little pokey bit from sliding out with vibration, which is really nice. Now, and the outer ring, I mean, this is a really solid outer ring. Even though it is just tin, it's much better than these other style. And if you have a look inside here, I'm not sure if you can actually see it there, but that's just a really thin plate of copper. So let's have a look at this one here. Oh no, you know what? This I just remembered. I used to have one of these on here, and I should have looked at it before I unwrapped it. But I used to have one of these on here. This is kind of for the auxiliary power on my bucky, and well, I've put the better one on because these are so shit that you know, just don't use them, man. Come on, don't use them. A little while ago, I bought a couple of tools, these tools, the yellow ones, and so far I haven't used them a lot, but I'm pretty happy with them. I bought a couple of other little units like this little adapter to vault with a Milwaukee adapter on. This little adapter had really good reviews, so I think it's a 1/4-inch expert adapter for the impact wrench. What I was thinking of doing with some of the cheaper brands that you get is maybe picking some of them up from the local you know, the checkers, the macros, the pick and pays, that type of thing. They have these drills, and they range anywhere from 400 rand to 700 rand. That's South African bucks there. I can tell you now they're probably going to be pretty shit. Really for the 1-use or 2-use home gamer, not for any professional use. But I'm keen to actually take some of them apart, open them up, and you know, see what they're made of. See how good the electronics are inside. See what style of battery they've got. If you guys are interested in that type of thing, let me know. I'll see if I can raise a little bit of money to buy some of them, strip them. You know, I'll give you some feedback. Maybe what we'll even do is we'll take one of these DeWalt's apart, and we'll use it as a reference, kind of, you know, a departure point to compare everything to. So guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Cheers.